Welcome to the Podcast of Disaster. I'm your host, JCR1216, and joining me are my co-hosts.
Jordan 127.
And joining us is a brand new member of the podcast, Adam Hayward. How you doing, Adam?
Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Hayward, voice actor and penciler for Sonic the Comic Online, Sonic Archie, and Sonic Legacy.
That is very awesome.
I like this guy. I know him.
Seems like almost every person that knows you ends up joining the podcast, Floof.
Yeah, just because as soon as I joined this thing, all of my other friends did. I still don't know how you did that.
It's because of the Lando thing.
Yeah, sure. That's the sole reason.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just here for social interaction.
Epic. A lot of people come here.
Huzzah.
A lot of people come here for the interactions, but most everybody stays because it's apparently fun, which is weird. But today we're
fun.
Yeah. We have a very colorful episode today. It's the 15-year anniversary of Sonic Colors. And you may be wondering, why are you covering the 15th? At the podcast, we cover every 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, 20, 25, 30. You get the gist. Every 5 years after the first game's anniversary, we take a look back. So if this podcast continues until 2030, we'll be talking about this game again for its 20th anniversary. That's kind of scary to think about. That we're 5 years away from 2010 being 20 years ago. But existential dread aside, we have to talk about Sonic Colors today.
Yes, we will.
So I remember around the time this game came out, and even today, it's one of the more positively received games. People say that this is like the start of like a weird era. Obviously, people either say this is the middle of the Dark Ages or like the beginning of like the meta era. Some people say that the Dark Age goes from all the way from 06 to right after Forces, before Frontiers comes out. But but people do look at this game in the Dark Age era and say that this was a really good game. So I have to wonder, is this anybody's favorite game?
Ooh,
I will say that it's certainly my favorite. I would say that it was certainly my favorite Wii game at the time. In terms of a regular Sonic game, it's all right. You know, it's cool.
Can I say at the time it was my favorite? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, this is my favorite Sonic game, but then again, I haven't played a whole lot of them, so yeah.
This was
what you will, I guess.
This was actually a Wii exclusive at the time, which I think is kind of funny because I believe this was a part of a deal that the first deal Nintendo and Sega had. I know that they had a lot of deals, but I remember it seemed like every game after Unleashed was a Wii exclusive for a minute because there was before Unleashed, excuse me. There was Secret Rings, then Black Knight, and then this game. I will say that it is pretty fun to look back at like how insane this game is because this was the first one that actually had the first mainline game that had the new voice casts minus Eggman since he stuck around. What are your guys' like overall thoughts on like Roger at the time when he took over this? I think he was like mostly known for pizza ads.
So, So, I obviously grew up with Jason Griffith at the time of me actually playing the Sonic games. My first was Sonic Rush, and literally, I had Secret Rings, I had Black Knight, I had Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which, even though Cross Worlds is out, that one will always remain my favorite racing game from Sonic.
Wait, that was your first?
Yeah, Sonic Rush was my first Sonic game.
Holy shit, small world.
And, I had gotten so used to the, hey, long time no see. So, it took me a bit, to get used to Roger, but, I didn't have the internet at the time, so I wasn't aware of anyone's opinions. I was like, oh, something sounds different. Okay. I just stuck with that at the time. I didn't know about Free Riders, that it existed. I just knew that Sonic Colors was the latest game at the time, and, well, I had it, and, well, yeah, that was plainly it. I was young at the time when Roger had stepped in, so, of course, I was, like, more than willing to just accept it, and he's still been Sonic for so many years, and it's like, growing up with Roger, too, it's like, I'm just kind of indifferent about it. I'm sure everyone else will have a different story than me, though.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Roger, Adam?
Well, when I started out, my first ever voice of Sonic was actually Jaleel White. That's how old I am. So what happened was, my first thought for Roger was, well, this guy isn't Ryan. And my first thought for Jason Griff, was this guy isn't Ryan. So when he started, I was like, at that point, I was thinking, well, how long is this guy going to last? Because Ryan was kicked out, then Jason was kicked out. I was like, I didn't really want to get attached to him because I didn't think he'd be sticking around for very long. I thought it would be just like revolving door vocal cords where you just get a new guy every few years. So I was like, I don't really want to get attached to him. But no, the guy stuck around. He's been doing it for, oh my God, now. It's been definitely 15 years over. This is one of the first ones, as you said. I mean, even like things certain people didn't stick around, like this isn't Colleen, is it?
Yeah, it's Kate Higgins.
At least in the original.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's Kate Higgins.
Yeah.
So it's like
2 games.
I mean, there's still some, like when it comes to like revolving door vocal cords, there's still some vestige of that. Like there was rumors going around they wanted to replace the voice actors for the games with the Sonic Prime voice actors for a while, and that was a rumor. But like I said, when he first started, I didn't really take much heed because, like I said, they kept swapping people in and out all the time. I thought he did now, of course, I think he's absolutely taken it and ran away with it. And you could tell by his first performance that he hasn't quite got into the groove yet. If that makes any sense. Like he hasn't quite found his groove. But I really like him as this, and though I think he actually does a really good job.
Well, let's start off by addressing an elephant in the room. The Colors DS also came out, but they're really besides like story differentiations, most of the levels are the same. So unless there's something that's like obviously different, Colors DS will kind of be put to the side. People when they talk about Colors DS, they usually just call it Sonic Rush 3, but without Blaze.
Despite the fact that Blaze is in the, despite the fact that Blaze is in the story, but she isn't playable, and it's just mainly Sonic.
Yeah.
But Dimps did work on the DS version of Sonic Colors, and everyone knows Dimps is the guys responsible for the Sonic Rush games, and the Sonic Advance games, and the Sonic 4 games. Well, at the time, Sonic 4 hadn't come out yet. I think only episode 1.
It's been out.
Episode 1.
Yeah,
there was a lot of games coming out like within that small time frame. Either way, no, like the only other thing is that Sonic Colors DS is just from what has been said by Takashi Iizuka, as well as the more recent evidences that were the more recent evidence seen in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is that DS is meant to be an expansion of the games from both console and PC, going on to Ultimate as well. But mainly DS is an expansion of the story that we see in the HD version, where a lot of other details that were left out of just Sonic and Tails being at Eggman's park, but rather Sonic and his friends were all there at the park. And the fact that Supersonic fights the Mother Wisp and everything that is known about DS that is different from the HD version, which I am glad that it's HD, HD for Nintendo Wii at the time. Yeah. I'm glad that there is actual acknowledgement of the DS version. I'm pretty sure Archie Sonic had something like that, but like actually having it in like the games themselves. Because there is a lot of things that make sense for characters going forward that people would not, realize and such. Like in Sonic Colors DS, that is the game where Blaze and Silver meet for the first time post Sonic 06. That is where their friendship blossoms again. After Solaris being erased and everyone's memories, like Sonic Colors is when they start being friends again. And among other things that have occurred in Sonic Colors DS, again, Mother Wisp, a very, very important figure in the Sonic universe. But apart from that, yeah, those are just like the small little differences that we do know. Because now we can just focus on what was seen in the Nintendo Wii version, and then later on the Sonic Colors Ultimate version. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
We saw quite a lot of things in the Colors Ultimate version when it first came out.
That is true.
I don't think the title could be more accurate.
Not all good.
Sure, yeah, we did see a lot of colors, didn't we?
A lot of colors.
I mainly saw red.
Besides
I
the
mainly
Wisps,
saw light blue. That's what I saw.
besides the Wisps making their debut, this was also the debut of Orbot.
No, Cubot.
And Cubot.
And Cubot.
No. Because in Sonic Unleashed, Orbot's prototype SA-55 showed up.
Oh yeah.
Which, yeah, that's technically Orbot's.
Yeah, that was technically a different robot, technically.
No. Ian confirmed that is Orbot's prototype, and Eggman upgraded him into Orbot.
Oh,
Ian has a lot of has a massive fan is a massive fan of retconning. Let's face it, though.
And it depends on who you talk to, because then at the same time, Sega is also a fan of retconning.
Wouldn't say it was a fan, more like they kind of have to. But
Again,
So you
just a
got-
lot of this and that when it comes to the internal machinations of Sega and Sonic Team.
So the game picks up. So let's sink our teeth into the game. So we start off with Sonic and Tails sneaking onto a big ass elevator and going up into space, and they arrive at Tropical Resort, which is the start of Eggman's new theme park. Pretty much leaving off where he left off with like, oh, I want to make a theme park from Unleashed.
Yeah, and it was definitely, and after he had been able to complete Eggman Land, it's like where do you possibly go from that? Eggman Land wasn't officially done because it was still siphoning off of Dark Gaia, and at the same time it was. Well, after all that happened with the core of the planet and at the end of Unleashed, it's like, yeah, no, Eggman Land has just been abandoned and is now a dilapidated wasteland of Eggman's ambitions. He wants to do it again, but definitely not there specifically anymore. So, where do you go from there? Literally outer space.
Yep. Except he isn't peeing on the moon this time.
How many times are they going to go into outer space? Because usually you do outer space is like the last resort for storytelling.
And in a funny way, it was the first resort, tropical even.
Yeah. So so after completing the first level, we get introduced to our first wisp, which is the White Wisp. Which
Little
is
guy, just the good old staple of the wisp species specifically.
Anyone here get bonus points for remembering the name?
Yacker.
There you go.
Yep, we get introduced to Yacker at the the slight end of that first two levels where we see Orbot and Cubot trying to capture wisps.
Yep. With Orbot's very clearly not finalized voice.
Yep, it's a cowboy voice.
I know.
Which
that voice went out the window.
I am glad. I am glad that as much as everyone does tend to joke around with Cubot and the voice chip and everything, I'm glad it was just a one-time thing. And also the fact is going on to other games, it's like, oh, they can make funny references and such. It's like, breaking Cubot's voice chip, and it's like, I don't want to go through that again. And it's that's hilarious. That's funny.
I was literally going to say they should bring that voice back as a joke.
I believe he also gets changed to a pirate later.
If they would bring it back, right? I'd prefer if they add a dial for Cubot to operate himself, so that way he can change his voice manually. He has control over it, and is like, no, I'm just gonna annoy you just for the fun of it.
That'd be funny.
But yeah, Tropical Resort is definitely a wonderful place. Let's see here. The White Wisp, which is just this was where Sonic Team decided to be a little bit more experimental. As most games would be experimental, but this one was the most experimental, where instead of rings powering Sonic's boost meter, the wisps did so.
It was the wisp.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that mechanic, I mean, I like the idea, but I would prefer the rings, honestly.
Oh, I thought it was animals that powered.
Wrong character, pal.
Yeah. But well, as we're going through, we get to see a lot of interesting set pieces. I will say Tropical Resort is probably one of my more favorite worlds, planets, I guess we would call it here. Each planet has 6 levels, with the 7th level being the final boss. I think this was one of the more interesting layouts for a Sonic game, because it kind of feels like a Mario game in a way. With its level layout. Usually with Sonic games, you go on to the next one immediately, but now you get to go back and choose your own way, choose your own world you get to go into, type of thing. Because after you beat the first level,
one reason I like it so much.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah, it's this is where we get the introduction of Eggman Enterprises and just a lot of the funny over the intercom Eggman comments and everything about the park, which I will say is definitely one of my favorite parts of Eggman and stuff like that. I thought that it gave it a lot more character than just the environment design, which even then it was also really cool. like Sonic Colors gets flack for some things, but like the environments are they are so cool. They genuinely are. For like a game entirely set mainly in space, when space levels are usually the end game of Sonic games, like this is perfect. It's really that cool. It's like, yeah, no, it's like, and especially with all the flying cars that we see in Tropical Resort, it's like it gives me the vibes of as if Sonic Team, something of like I don't know. Like, whenever I think of flying cars in Sonic, I get, like, the vibes of Grand Metropolis from Sonic Heroes, or the other hover cars that we see in the Sonic Riders games. And it's like, this is Sonic Team's, like, fully developed, like, basically Tropical Resort is basically just, yes, I feel like this would be most for, like, a Sonic racing game, but instead, we got it in this, in this mainline Sonic game. Which some people compare the levels and such, and that's totally fine. And I think that is also a little bit backed up. That's like my observations, anyways, is backed up by the fact that the power-ups are very much everywhere, especially the next Wisp that we get to see Sonic encounter.
And Wisp.
I think this game really does benefit a lot of stripping things back quite a lot and simplifying mechanics in the way it was done.
True.
Because, it really like a return to almost like to very basic gameplay, and I think that might have been a combination of both the limitations of the Wii and the controllers and things like that, but also fans have been asking for ages for a much more simplistic thing. You had the teamwork with in Sonic Heroes, followed by you had the Hedgehog with Sonic Unleashed, you had the gun with Shadow's spin-off game and things like that. Just a good old fashioned platform with Sonic, playing as Sonic for most of it as well. Ugh.
Yeah. And that's when we get to the boss, the Rotatatron, or however you pronounce that.
Oh boy, I've always referred to it as Rotatatron. Rotatatron.
I don't think I ever knew that.
That's not what I heard you.
Great. Now I'm gonna have to look into that specifically. It's yes, but that depends on specifically like how things tend to go. Is like you will also get the encounter of Globotron in Sonic Colors DS, because they'd alternate two of the bosses specifically in the different versions. However, despite the fact that Sonic technically is meant to fight both of them, because Rotatatron is so easy. Let's just say there was certainly an accident that befell after the destruction of one of the rides. And everyone's gonna love the fact that there's definitely a problem where Orbot and Cubot clean up after the destruction and realize that they're missing a piece, and that piece is stuck to whatever building is spewing out some sort of gaseous substance, and it's purple, so that's probably not good at all.
Purple gas. Yeah. Also, we find out in the DS version that Cream mistook the elevator as a ride, and that's why she's up there.
That is true. Cream does technically go to there on accident. However, they are able to find a little Chow friend amidst the whole thing in the form of milk. Milk.
How do you?
Yes, milk the Chow.
That's me.
Don't milk the Chow.
Thing there.
Milk is its name.
How do you accidentally shoot yourself into space?
You haven't seen this podcast on the Maverick Tuesday, my friend.
To be fair, the egg mecha does look like just your. It's certainly an interesting elevator, but it's still an elevator. Like I don't think Cream expected it to go up into space rather than just it looks very tall. But you know what? To be fair, every one of Sonic's friends and rivals ended up there. Well, not everyone, but mostly everyone ended up there. So like, I'm not gonna fault Cream for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, over in Tropical Resort, Cream's young. Cream is young. Let's not opinionate on a child.
Probably thought it was like a.
Blaming on her mother.
Vanilla tends to let her wander about. It's how she met Blaze.
And that's it. Yeah. If I let my child wander about, she might wander about into play on the swings or say go on the merry-go-round. I don't accidentally let my child wander off into space.
This is Sonic's world. What does it matter? Anywho.
Yeah.
There's been like 15 other adventures since then. Anywho.
Where's the Sonic equivalent of CPS anyway? Where's the Sonic?
Sweet Mountain is next up.
Yeah, Sweet Mountain. Yeah. Sweet Mountain. We all don't let Charmy near there because too much sugar. Or
Which
me,
thankfully
every
he
time I
didn't
look
end
at
up there,
Sweet
but-
Mountain or think about Sweet Mountain, I gain 5 pounds.
That sounds like a you problem.
Sonic Crazy Crossroads.
That sounds like a you problem.
Oof.
But yeah, this is where more of Eggman's plan starts to a little bit unfold as Tails tries his best to get information out of Yacker and the rest of the Wisps. Which, depending on the version you're playing, is that Tails will tend to get right results, but a few wonky details tend to go in and out and such.
This reoccurring joke, yeah. That reoccurring joke. That's the only thing I
I
remember.
gotta remember
about
that one.
I don't know why. They keep doing this joke in the story where Tails keeps translating wrong, and he just replaces words with other words, and apparently that's meant to be funny.
I mean, well,
I thought it was funny when I was a kid.
Yeah, remember Sonic remember Sonic fandom. The Sonic games are usually marketed towards children.
Yeah, so was Sonic Boom, and that was hilarious.
We get introduced to the yellow drill in this one. I'm not the biggest fan of the yellow
Yes,
drill.
we get
That's power.
Yellow Drill and Orange Rocket, I believe. Yes.
Rocket.
Yeah, that seems about right. Although, whoops, let's not forget about another pal that we do get to meet along the way if you're playing Sonic Colors Ultimate. In between Tropical Resort and Sweet Mountain, our friend the Jade Wisp comes into play as well. Originally from Team Sonic Racing, but brought over into Sonic Colors because something brand synergy and new storyline or something
Marketing.
like that. Not only, and Sweet Mountain is definitely one of the used places in Sonic media, aside from another place that we'll be talking about soon. Because Sweet Mountain is also the centerpiece of the tie-in animation, Rise of the Wisp.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Where we not only get to we also not only get to see the introduction of the Jade Wisp into Sonic Colors, but also the introduction that Metal Sonic was part of Sonic Colors storyline, which is very, very fun. Because any opportunity to see Metal Sonic is, well, an interesting one. Just because, the last time we had even seen Metal Sonic wasn't part of Sonic Colors originally and was added into Sonic Colors Ultimate. So, the next time we'd even see Metal Sonic was Sonic Generations, and that wasn't even the original. It was Metal Sonic from the past. So, getting to see him again, and actually as, a small tie-in threat as well. Because there's just, a lot of games where Metal Sonic is kind of a bit off on the sidelines, so it's him actually being go toe-to-toe with Sonic. And, it's always nice to see that. I'm fairly certain that aside from Sonic Boom and Sonic Generations, but even then that was just for the 20th. It was the 20th, right? 20th anniversary of Sonic, or 25th? 20th. No, yeah, 20th.
20th.
Metal Sonic was not at all used. Yeah, Free Riders was the last time we technically saw Metal Sonic. And even then we didn't even know it was him. Metal Sonic was not really as used at the time. So, we're lucky the fact that we get to see him again.
It's really weird when you think about his significance and his popularity.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then moving on with Sweet Mountain, we come across our boss battles.
There's one thing I want to say before we get into the boss battle. I was reading through the wiki, and one of the lines Eggman says over the intercom is, "Welcome to Sweet Mountain. Insulin will be provided at a marginal extra cost," and by a marginal we mean enormous.
Oh yeah, those PA announcements are one of the best things about the game.
Exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, you can say what you want about Pontac and Graf, but when they're funny, they're really funny.
Oh yeah.
And current events.
Wow, you really have to go there, didn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, Captain Jelly. Fun. That boss.
It's really unfortunate. Okay, go ahead.
You go first.
I don't know, I thought that it was definitely one of the easier bosses for me specifically, but the Jelly's little pirate crew, the little pirate crew badniks, they were annoying to even deal with. It's you hear all their little voices and stuff. It's oh, get out of my way! I'm trying to kill your boss.
I like the little.
That battle was a lot of fun to play though.
Yeah, it was really.
It's funny, yes, but man, they just swarm you. It's just, blah. But then all's good, taking out the last generator and defeating Captain Jelly and his crew, which it's very nice we get to see his ship again in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. But other than that, oh my gosh, I'm just realizing something. But you know what? I'm not going to talk about that. We also have to comment on the fact that just like Tropical Resort, where we ran into Cream, we ran into a few other friends along the way in Sweet Mountain. Like I said before, Silver and Blaze showing up in Sweet Mountain on Sonic Colors DS. Oh, you're not going to let that go, aren't you?
Listen, it's a rule on this podcast. Whenever Silver gets brought up by a different person, I have to mention the Iblis Rizzer.
Sorry. But anyways, Warbot and Cubot had a bit of a run-in with Silver and Blaze. And yeah, it's like Sonic and Tails kind of hint at us like, you know what, you guys work really well together. I wonder if you guys, worked with each other, sometime, someplace.
2006.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Anywho, but yeah.
Why do they have to remind us?
But yeah, Blaze and Silver definitely enjoyed their time. At least I think Silver did. Yeah, they just stuck around until, towards the events at the end. However, we now have to go on to another part of the park, and that is...
Like Carnival.
Oh, man.
I honestly this is my least favorite. This is one of my favorite ones. I will say that, I did enjoy the other two, worlds a little bit more than, this one. Yeah.
Sonic Carnival has a very visually interesting. I do like the neon look of it, but the play, it's not that great.
These are some of the best visuals you will see on the Wii, hands down.
Yes, that is true. And unfortunately, only the Wii. Because in Sonic Colors Ultimate, you really see the colors on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They burn your freaking retinas.
It's like staring into the sun. Anywho, but yeah, Starlight Carnival is pretty much just the theme park-esque disguise of the Egg Fleet, pretty much. This is just Eggman's space fleet in just hiding under the guise of it being a carnival and a galactic parade, if you will. Ha 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 ha.
We get introduced to the blue.
All right.
We get introduced to the blue wisp in this one.
And the
pink one.
And the green wisp.
I hate the
let me
hover
see.
wisp.
I hate the order of how these things go.
I hate the hover wisp.
White Wisp, Cyan Wisp, Jade Wisp. Tropical Resort in DS introduces the Red Wisp as well. Orange Wisp, Yellow Wisp, Blue Wisp, Green Wisp. Okay, we are going at these at a relative rate. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The green wisp is the one that allows you to hover. And the blue one is the cube, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hate the hover wisp and the cube wisp with a passion. No wonder why Mimic made his wisp with the cube wisp.
Wow. You really had to go with that one, didn't you? Can't wait to show my friends who like the diamond cutters that you're... Yeah, that's a very tasteful comment. Anywho. Anywho, yeah, no, I will be honest. I'm gonna get controversial here. I love all the wisps. I do. But like in terms of functionality, I like the cube. I like blue cube and green hover definitely work better with the wispins from Forces in mind. I'm sorry to say it. I understand like the functionalities that was used in colors, and I can see why we had to use them. And like I can get into them. It's just hover is slow. Despite the fact that it is, a glorified Lightspeed dash when you think about it. Functionality, gameplay-wise, I'm just saying, not character-wise, I love them. And then Cube Wisp was like, you really have to it's a puzzle. And puzzles can be fun. It's just that you also accidentally collect the rings that are meant to be your platforms when you use the blue cube. So it's like, well, gotta find the other way around. If there's no other way around, well, time to die.
Sounds like a skill issue from your point.
I think that's kind of just the summarization of most casual Sonic players. But anyway, getting that out of the way, Starlight Carnival does have a boss battle as well.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I believe.
What was the
Frigid Orkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that does sound right. Yeah, Frigid Orkin, which is. I'm fairly certain. It's part of Starlight Carnival, and I'm fairly certain it's meant to be like a shipment carrier. I think that was the intention of it. And then Sonic,
Make to resemble a whale.
To resemble a whale. It drops like crates.
Yeah.
I do think I will say, out of all of the Super Badnik bosses and everything, I think this one's the coolest. This one's definitely the coolest. I just like the fact that we can fight. It feels like we're fighting an individual Egg Fleet ship that has come alive. That's how I put it, anyways. Like, You know, it's like what if you fought like the shark ships from Sonic Heroes? It feels like that, but in space.
Also, if I remember correctly, before this boss fight, or it's the next one, Tails actually gets hypnotized by that the black matter, and and gets used
Yeah.
as a shield briefly.
And it's somehow just as fast as Sonic. Who knew?
Yeah, Eggman's. Yeah, that is what we finally get. The extent of Eggman's plan is that he's creating a mind control ray with the energies of the hypergolem energy from the wisps, and well, that doesn't go so well, huh? If I had a nickel for every time Tails gets mind controlled and we have to fight him, but then we don't and he fights back, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice.
Are you talking about Sonic Battle or Sonic Lost World?
Lost World.
3 nickels.
3 nickels.
But also, thank you. I've been practicing.
Nice
but
Heinz.
yeah, didn't really go through. But you know what? We'll have to worry about that mind control ray later once Tails gets used to his nose hairs tingling. Yes, I still remember that line to this day.
Baldy McNose hair.
Anyway.
Huh. No copyright law in the universe. Huh.
Wrong level. That's the next one.
I love that quote though. I will say.
Hold on. I didn't. Oh wait. Yes, Sword
What?
Yeah.
What were we gonna say?
I was just making a joke about just like the lines in this game. Like
I thought Lord M was gonna say something.
I don't.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh well, all right then. But yeah, and then we also have to mention another thing is the fact that again, just like as it was mentioned in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, Knuckles was tricked into coming to Starlight Carnival by Rouge. And they certainly have the usual scuffle that we know that we all love them for.
Yep.
Checks out.
Yeah. It's like that certainly worked. Well, look who it is. Knuckles and Rouge. You guys on a date or something? Sorry, opportunity struck. I had to take it. Anyway, now we get out of that way and we go on to the latter half of the game in the form of
Planet West.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see here. The seaside hill of Sonic Colors. No, the green hill of Sonic Colors. When you think of Sonic Colors, you obviously think of where the Wisps come from, and that's their home planet. Is actually, thematically, after 15 years and looking back on it, thematically, it's actually rather beautiful. Just the fact that their, natural world is having, the Eggman Empire stuff its, machines into it, the establishment of all the construction sites and the Enterprise mechas making a mess of things and tearing down a lot of their forests, and Sonic from the start of the very first game in the series, it's always been about environmentalism.
Over industrialization.
Yes, exactly. And it's even despite the fact that Sonic Colors has its problems, whether the problems are gone after Sonic Colors Ultimate or new ones come in, a lot of its themes are still there, and it's still rather a really beautiful stage. And even after Colors, it's a lot of that Eggman tech is still left behind, whether it's being taken care of, the badniks left behind, or it's just the fact that a lot of this machinery is now stuck to the planet, and the Wisps can't really do much unless without their powers. So, there's just a bit of the consequences when it comes to the environment versus industrialization.
Yep.
I don't know. I just wanted to mention that. I just find it really beautiful.
One of the
favorite levels in the game.
Yeah. One of the funniest things I always think about when it comes to this game is imagine if you didn't have a Wii and when you played Sonic Generations, you're like, oh, what's this level? Because Planet Wisp for the longest time was the only level from Sonic Colors that you could play that wasn't on the Wii.
Huh.
And it's funny because aren't those the most hated levels in Generations? If I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Mine is the one from Sonic 2006, just for the simple knowledge that it reminds me that game exists.
Yeah, I just find it funny that that this was the only level for the longest time that you could kind of play in HD from Colors, because it was the only game from the Wii era really represented in Generations, because Black Knight and Secret Rings, although they were planned, they didn't have it in Generations. So this was the only way that you could really touch color in this game.
This is a nice little play on words there.
Let me see here. But yeah, Planet Wisp, we finally get a lot more of the extent of Eggman's plan. You know, a lot of the Wisps are very worried about the fact that their home is being taken over. And, you know, Sonic is going to stop it. Because as we all know, everyone, no copyright law in the universe is going to stop him. There we go.
Like I said, I love that line.
It's yeah,
It's the funny
is,
one.
like I don't care what anyone says. It's still a really good line.
Hey, he's really good too.
Mm-hmm. And then we go on to the boss battles. The boss battles here on Planet Wisp.
It's just a refresh of the Tropical Resort boss.
Pretty much,
literally,
yeah.
its name is Refreshinator.
I did that intentionally. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, its name is actually Refreshinator. Or depending on if you're playing Sonic Colors DS, you come across Drillinator.
Yeah. You also come across the Chaotix in the DS version.
Yes, in Sonic Colors DS, no, Charming was not at Sweet Mountain, as the whole Chaotix were at Planet Wisp, and they were, you know, conducting their own investigations of what's happening and such. SBO doing his thing, Charmy doing his thing, and Vector being goofily serious about it, of course, as they all tend to. And you know, the funniest SBO and Sonic interaction too. We all know the one we're talking. Most of us know what we're talking about.
Afraid not. Gonna have to fill me in for the sake of our viewers.
Basically, SBO showed up with the rest of the Chaotix, and Sonic was wondering, was like, "Hey, where'd you come from, man? Did you use like your ninja powers to disappear or something?"
I was literally just standing here.
I was just standing.
That line is so funny.
I was just standing over here. It is wonderful. It's a thing you'd have to experience for yourself, like a lot of the other things in the game. But yeah, and then following that, I'm fairly certain that we do get more shenanigans with Eggman, Orbot, and Cubot, as we tend to. Sort of in reference to Sonic Unleashed when we cut Eggman in the middle of his plan, and then SA-55 is talking to him. It's like, it's a rehash of that, basically.
No sandwich this time.
Man,
now I'm getting hungry.
Because then following off from, speaking of hungry, actually, now we're moving on from Planet Wisp, we're heading on over to
Aquarium Park.
A lot of fish.
Come on, everybody! The bucket of sushi's on me.
Yay! Also, fish. I wonder. I'm gonna get a mod of this game, and I'm gonna put Lano fish upon every fish.
Oh dear God! On every fish?
Yes. You're just gonna go through the game. This is what happens when I'm gonna buy Sega in 2032, Floof.
Give him a chance.
I don't know how to feel about that, but okay.
I'm already a Sega investor, Floof.
You told me, apparently.
Yeah, I'm 5 steps away from buying
is,
Sega. All I need is $5 billion. Can you give me that?
Yeah, fat chance of that.
Yeah, I'll just check my bank account. I'll barely pay my friggin' rent. Financial ruin. It's so funny. So
are we talking about this bubble, or?
Yeah, I'm about to just bring it round. I was just about to say. So my question to you guys: do you think that Aquarium Park continues the good old-fashioned Sonic tradition of having the water level suck ass?
Yes, I absolutely.
don't.
This is my least favorite level in the entire game. That one mini boss where you get punched in the fucking face if you get near him. I can never dodge it. It pisses me off. I think this is one of the more beautiful water levels in all of Sonic. But at the same time, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, water levels are, Aquarium Park is, yeah.
Water levels have always been to the antithesis of the very concept, of the very idea of Sonic the Hedgehog itself. In that Sonic is about going fast, and water is about slowing you down to a fucking crawl. So water levels generally always suck in Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what I find. Now, the question is, where does this rate in terms of water levels and in terms of sucking? Do you feel?
Not that bad, in my opinion.
I think I only had a few problems when I first played it, but other than that, it's kind of like, other than that, everyone else can talk about the water physics, because, it was slow, as long as you still had boost, it'd be something. I will say, I did like that when you did boost underwater, you do go back up to the surface when you're running. Like, I like that.
Yeah. And this time we see Big and
a little
Amy.
bit of a blood.
This time we see Big and Amy.
Yes, that is true. In this
Everyone's favorite fisherman.
Yes, in this particular point of things, that Amy and Big are here in Aquarium Park, which Big is fishing, does good on him, and Amy tries to get Sonic into a date, which, good on her. And Sonic is just reluctant. He has things to do, so he's off to fight another captain, or actually an admiral, Admiral Jelly and his submarine crew.
I honestly didn't mind this boss fight.
I disagree.
Isn't this the one where it's like something like toppings or whatever? I forgot how that goes, but it's like anyone order a thrashing or whatever? I genuinely don't remember.
Someone ordered an extra large covering with everything.
Yes, there you go. That was what it was.
There you go. He's guarding, if I remember correctly, he's guarding something like he's guarding the tractor beam generator. That's what he's guarding.
Yeah, all the bosses do that.
Yeah, and I must admit, this one is kind of like I have vague memories of this boss, very vague memories, which kind of says to me that maybe it wasn't that memorable because I do remember the other ones. You constantly going underwater. The player has to keep. You have to constantly, you have to use the air bubbles in order, as is tradition with the Sonic, in order to stop yourself from drowning. What going underwater for starters, I've always hated going underwater in Sonic games. It's been just something I do not like. This is more my personal distaste than anything else. I just do not like this boss at all.
It's also like a rehash of the Sweet Mountain boss.
Yeah, one of the things I really noticed with Colors is that they recycle their bosses a shit ton.
Yeah.
Like half of the bosses are original, half of the bosses are recycled.
Yeah.
And my template for what a boss should be is each level should teach its own lessons, and a boss should be like the final exam of those lessons. So the idea that they recycle the bosses just meant that they lose a lot of impact in the way they just do. But it's this boss, but now it's underwater, therefore it's a lot slower and more annoying, and constantly having to make sure that you're getting air bubbles.
Yep.
And you have to use the yellow drill in order to cause damage. The theme song absolutely kicks ass though, especially the remix version to be exact.
And yeah, honestly, when it comes to the boss fights, it is something that I'm really like most of this game has a lot of original stuff, but the boss fights sometimes just like they make jokes about it, but it is kind of sad. Yeah. But what isn't sad? Roller coasters.
One that's set in an asteroid.
Yay! Death.
Asteroid coaster. Which I'm still trying to figure out little things about. So you know what? It's all in good fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I think only 2 of the levels actually involve the coasters. The first one and the last one.
Well, you're just mainly selling into asteroid itself. But the carnival's fun though. The carnival. The coaster is fun. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. Whenever I play that one, I'm reminded a bit of I don't know. It reminds me. There's a bit. I'm getting like chemical plant vibes off of it with all the colors like water and stuff like that. I've got like it kind of reminds me a bit of just a little bit of like some of the arc levels you'd get. There's a mixture in there. I think there's a good mixture of certain things that that are familiar with the way the level looks, at least if I remember correctly. Always found it to be very, I really like that one. This one is a lot more, and it's a lot more certainly a freaking breath of fresh air after having to go through the damn water level for crying. And no, I'm not going to let this go. I hate that damn water level so much. Always hate them. But
I will say that this
roller coaster
is the best of the levels. Asteroid Coaster to me is like the best of the levels.
Yeah, it's fun. It's slick.
It's slick. Maybe I don't know.
It's slick. It's fast paced. It has a lot of good turns in it, as all do good roller coasters.
And you want to know what else is better paired with roller coasters? Shadow and Omega. Ha ha ha.
Because when I think of good times, I think, and enjoying myself and riding roller coasters, I think of those two.
Why are you even there again? I mean, especially Shadow, why is he even taller?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
He's asking why Shadow and Omega are in Asteroid Coaster in the DS version.
A lot of it is summed up with the fact that their goals and everything. So Silver was there because he time traveled. Blaze was there because the Soul Emerald Center. Cream got there. Cream accidentally came there on accident. Big went there to fish. Amy went there because she knew Sonic would be there. Her instinct and everything. Again, Rouge tricked Knuckles to come up there. And from what I do remember, it was mainly Omega. Excuse me. It was mainly Omega who had shown up at that time because, as Omega realized that the park was, entirely Eggman's construction. And you know how Omega is when it comes to the Eggman Empire. And as well, Omega was also there on a mission as well. And it also seems as though, Shadow was accompanying Omega. I think what was said is that they were trying to find like a secret on Asteroid Coaster or something, and it was at Asteroid Coaster they realized that Mother Wisp was involved with whatever Eggman also had plans with. So like they were gathering intel basically, but Omega was also there to destroy, as he usually does. Speaking of destruction, we have one more rehashed boss sort of thing.
Yeah, I wasn't quite done talking about it, if I'm honest. This one had Easter eggs in it before we move on to the boss.
Oh yes, that's right. My bad.
I was just going to say about the this has actually I think actually has two one of two. This has actually got my favorite Easter egg in terms of like Eggman's Tannoy, because it's the one where he says he basically references Crazy Taxi in this. He's like, with the owner of the yellow car, license plate number 1NOM155, please report to, because that's the registration plate for the taxi in Crazy Taxi.
I don't remember that one actually.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing that.
I'm pretty sure this is the one where it happens, because I remember that going over the tunnel, and I was like, hey, I know that. I was like Leo in the film, with pointing at something. I know that. That's Crazy Taxi. I played that game. Let's put it this way: I played that game so damn much as a kid that I know the number plate of the damn taxi. Okay.
Yeah, he's right.
One of my favorite. Whoops.
Well,
I also remember playing a super. This roller coaster is apparently powerful enough to stop Supersonic as well, because every time you jump into the thing, you power down.
Yeah, and speaking of powerful, let's talk about the powerful final boss, Terminal Velocity.
Well, hey, hold on. Actually, no. I don't feel like there's much to talk about Frigate Scullion, to be honest. It's just a harder version of Frigate Orkin. But I think I will say that it definitely is also looking cool too. But I think like Sonic has like this one like long-winded I'm gonna stop you, and it's like kind of goes on. It's like without fail. I don't think this is probably one of the ones I remember the least, but it's whatever. Other than that, and then there's also what is it? There's also one other thing where like I think that's like at the very last act of Asteroid Coaster, like before Frigate Scullion, there's like a gravity machine that's like a mini boss, and it looks like Rotatatron and Refreshinator. Like it's like a third version of it. And it's like, that one puts up more of a fight than those things. Other than that, okay, now we can move on. Where all the tractor beams all the planets have been freed. Everything seems to be going well. Unfortunately, Eggman still has his mind control plan, and it blows up in his face, quite literally.
We just can't have a game where Eggman's the final boss anymore, can we?
But in fact, we did in this game, particularly.
I was going to say everything blows up. Yeah, ironically enough, even though it does blow up in his face.
Yeah. but Eggman decides to resort to a very, very last plan in which he takes care of Sonic himself. The park is imploding on itself with all of the gathered Hyper-Gohan energy. I know people say that it's a black hole, but it's like it's been clarified as all of the energies taken away from the wisps that Eggman harvested. But it's still pretty bad, and it is destroying the park by its seconds. And down the terminal velocity it goes as Tails is shoved into the Egg Mecha elevator, and Sonic takes on Eggman himself.
Sonic pushed him in there.
It was for the greater good. Yeah, for the greater good.
If Planet Wisp is supposed to be like the Green Hill equivalent, then this has to be the Arc level equivalent.
I guess you could take it that way, yeah. And I think it's actually like a really cool like reverse thing, you know? Because as we were talking about with the Sonic levels going up to space as the end game, here Sonic's heading straight back down to Earth in the end game. It's a fun little reverse that people don't tend to think about, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it's put the entire thing in space. You know, the weird thing is, for a game that takes up entirely in space, takes place entirely in space, they did a really good job in keeping the levels varied and keeping everything interesting. Mm-hmm. As much as I like certain levels and stuff like that, or I think, but I think they really did a good job of creating visually interesting and with very varied looking levels.
Well, think about space in real life. This is the only planet that has like water and trees and stuff, at least that we know of. It's kind of different from like all the other planets. It's not like Mercury or Venus or Jupiter or whatever. So it makes sense, I think, that they would be able to vary up all the levels and stuff.
I suppose that's what makes space. That's why people enjoy space stuff, is because space is like the last great unknown of the universe. I suppose, in a way, not to get too philosophical. You can really like go to like everything's mapped out in the real world, but when it comes to science fiction, space is always like where the last great big unknown. So you can really get a chance to get varied and get creative with it.
Yeah.
And then it's just one big corridor.
Or you could even say you could get colorful with it.
Hey,
I'm gonna throw you into a sewer. But yeah,
where we belong.
I will say that this was a beautiful boss fight, and to me one of like the more cool parts of the game. I think this is one of the better Eggman fights in general.
Twice.
Yeah, in Forces and in when did they rehash it again? Lost
World and then Forces.
So good, you have to rehash it
because they thought it was a boss fight, or did they rehash it because they needed to knock off a lunch?
Welcome to 2010's Sega. Yeah, but you beat Eggman. The day is saved. Wahoo!
Only you could say we've saved the world and make it sound so.
Yeah.
However, while that is usually where Sonic Colors ends its storyline, in Sonic DS, that is a completely different subversion that we would not be used to at all. In which, despite the fact that Yacker and the rest of the Wisps do decide to go home, we also know the fact that some of the Wisp population does decide to stick around on Sonic's world because they think it's cool. They think it's really, really cool. Unfortunately, Yacker does end up coming back because something hasn't been fixed yet. Something that Shadow and Omega were around to look into themselves, along with Sonic and Tails, in the form of the fact that Eggman didn't just stop at the Wisp population and taking the Hyper-Gohan energies and turning them into, the purple Wisps, the violet Wisps, the magenta Wisps, all of that, basically. But more so the fact that Eggman went after their mother. And the mother Wisp was basically on a negative rampage, and over the course of the trip around Egg Planet Park in Sonic Colors DS, we have the wonderful return of the Sonic Rush special stages and the return of the Chaos Emeralds since Unleashed, in which Sonic will transform into Super Sonic and go to fight the Mother Wisp himself.
Well, technically, Super Sonic was in the Wii version, although how you unlocked them there is a lot different than in DS.
And that doesn't matter, because that's not even part of the story. The one in DS matters more.
Yeah, that's fair.
And again, to unfortunately let Adam know that Sonic Colors, technically across its whole storyline, Eggman isn't the final boss. we do fight one of his consequences in a way. A lot of Sonic games merely end up fighting Eggman's consequences. As like, yep, we got to clean up after this guy again. And with that, again, just like after having saved the rest of the Wisp population, Mother Wisp is safe, and she gets to return home with her probably millions of children, because that definitely seems about accurate.
Eggman, if you want to go after a mother, go hit up Vanilla.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, what did you say?
Eggman, if you want to go hit up a mother, go hit up Vanilla.
I'm going to bury you 6 feet
Oh my
underground.
god.
He already did that on Sonic Advance.
I'm not even going to touch that.
How do you think Cream was
Yeah,
born?
that
That has been the podcast of disaster. Thank you everyone for watching this episode.
Wait, there's still more. We need to talk about our overall thoughts. You can't end it here.
I'll end it after that one.
All we've done is literally recant. All we've done is do a summary recant of all the levels and stuff.
Fine. To be fair, I have been saying a lot of my thoughts about Sonic Colors, but again, looking back on it after all these years and everything, it's like it is still just a really fine Sonic game. It's not the best Sonic game out there. It's not the worst. It's definitely not the worst. It at least functions as a Sonic game, but it's an all right Sonic ride. Like a lot of the games do tend to want to like introduce new fans and new audiences and such. Like, Sonic Colors definitely fits that. I do wish that the only thing, and everyone's heard it time and time and again, the only thing I really have a gripe is the excessive use of the 2.5D format. Like, I get all the thrill from just plain old 3D stages, and then it just goes.
Yeah.
I would if I can be a little more cynical about my description, considering the stuff we've been getting up until that point, I would call it a kernel of corn in a sea of shit.
Yeah. When people talk about 2010s Sega games with Sonic, people usually say that this was the best because when you look at the other games, Generations is good, but it's just a level package. At the end of the day, Generations is just a level remasters thing. People really didn't like Lost.
I will fight on this one. Generations is better than this. Come on.
I'm talking about like in general.
This is actually a good game. I'm
talking about like in general, like when we talk about 2010s, like 2013 had Lost World. Then there was Forces, which was a massive disappointment when it came to like because those are the big three games that came out that decade.
Uh-huh. Well, don't forget
Mania is a 2D game. I said 3D.
Talking about 3D games.
All right. Well, it's still a game. But anyway, so we had in 2008 it was Sonic Unleashed. Before that it was Shadow the Hedgehog. People like Sonic Heroes. I liked a lot. I like aspects of Sonic Heroes quite a lot. So that's when it started to dip a little bit. They were starting to show cracks. Then it was like Shadow the Hedgehog. Then it was Unleashed. So a lot of people like Unleashed. I say I call it PowerPoint presentation of the game. The dips like the frame rate drops in that was like hair tearing. And then of course just before that it was I literally intentionally skipped over it because I'm trying to forget that it exists. There was Sonic 2006. And after all that, after that horrible scene. What some people would call the 4-Kids era, because ironically enough, when Colors came out, it was the replacement of the 4-Kids, like a sea of them, like just bad game after bad game after bad game, and like this was like I said, this was an okay game in my opinion, an okay game in like an era where it was just awful, and you were just glad that you didn't like. I was just glad that I put the game in the Wii and the thing just didn't cause it to explode when I hit the power button. That's how bad things got. Like the absolute incompetency, like after all, some good ideas there. Like I said, this thing really, really benefited from stripping things back. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it was because of the limitations on the Wii or just the fact that they wanted to go back to basics. But I think the mechanics really benefited from the fact that it was much more simplified, much more standard, just basic, run of the mill. It did what it was meant to do. And in an era of absolute god awful games that some people nowadays actually kind of look back fondly, no idea why. I think it just needed to be, that's all it needed to be, was competent.
I mean, like I said, this is my favorite Sonic game personally, so
yeah.
Think of that level, I guess.
Yeah, now if we look at the impact Colors had, obviously there was the remake of this game that came out, which is the background footage for this episode. People had a lot of problems with that because of how like glitchy it was and all that stuff.
That's not us having problems. That's the game having problems.
Yeah. But we wouldn't have the Wisps have became a staple, and without this game, Whisper the Wolf wouldn't exist, or should be like completely different.
That is true.
I haven't read the comic book, the IDW comic books. Who is Whisper the Wolf?
Oh, buddy, there's about a good chunk of 25% of the Sonic Emblem will tell you everything, including myself.
Well,
Yeah.
go right ahead. Feel free to fill it in for the ignorance.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have the time for that.
Yeah, maybe
we've already been
another day.
recording for like an hour and a half or something like that.
Thank God
I
my
don't know how
PC
long
can
these things
handle it.
go. I was just told play
Yeah, well, that'll do it for this episode of the Podcast of Disaster. As always, be good to yourselves, others, and mothers, and think about the fact that Eggman might be Cream's father. Anyways, see you next time, everybody. Say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The colors feel so right, everybody. Ah.
Okay, that song was great. Okay, bye, everybody. Say bye,
We're all
Adam.
good enough.
Right. We're not having sign-off talk about how we felt it went.
His remarks for Shadow Gens when he couldn't make it. But yeah, in
That was a
3,
bit like a recap.
2, 1, the floor is yours, Adam.
What do you guys think about the overall quality of the music for this one?
Honestly, it's probably
It's
the
good. It's really
standard. If there's one thing Sonic has done consistently great, it's the music.
Amongst
Easily.
Tomoyo Otani's like best works out there, aside from like Sonic Rudders and such. But like, no, like the varying themes of the levels and everything. It's all beautiful, especially Planet Wisps is beautiful. Tropical Resort is what you'd expect. Sleep Mountain and Asteroid Coaster are their own senses of fun. Starlight Carnival is also what you'd expect. And what am I missing here? Aquarium Park. Oh, Aquarium Park is. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
This really helped with because it wasn't just Otani who was like the composer for this. This had a wide variety of different composers, if I'm not mistaken. And I think
when I was 11, I didn't really care a whole lot about music, but like the soundtrack of Sonic Colors, it really stood out to me. I really loved the music in this game, so yeah. I think that's say a lot.
I think Sonic was actually the first time I realized that music tracks could be badass. Like when I was playing, like it was like, oh, this stuff can be cool.
Truth.
And it just like I said, this had like a variety of different composers, which I really think helps with the variety of composers. Actually, really adds to the variety in the level. I think because you've got different styles, different uses of instruments, different feels for the overall. So no track sounds the same generally because it isn't really. But I think it really does help it. Too bad they screwed it up in the remake.
My favorite song is just Wish Planet Act 1. It's the best one in the game, period.
I know this wasn't his first track game he did, was it? I think that was the first one. Like was that Sonic Unleashed? Like this is his second.
Otani?
Yeah, Otani. I'm pretty sure this is his second one, isn't it? I think he was brought on because wasn't June like busy with the other ones? He was busy composing for like the storybook ones.
Actually no. Otani's been with Sonic since Sonic Adventure 2.
I mean when he was when he was the lead. when he was in charge. Because I'm pretty sure it was June.
Yeah, Sonic Unleashed. He is sound director and lead music composer.
I think this is his second one. And you can tell it's his work because it has a very similar feel to Unleashed. I think it has that whimsicalness. Whereas if June's work would be compared to a rock star, I would describe Otani as almost like a fantasy sort of style. Like there's whereas June's all about if you go this kicks fucking ass. When you play it with Otani, it's like whimsical, adventurous, going forth to the unknown, and which is appropriate for space. And discovery is what I would definitely use to attribute towards his music. Anyone else? Concur? Agree? Disagree?
I agree. I do say I Want to Reach for the Stars is a really good song. I remember when they played it during the symphony. Just in general, I think Colors has like a very I'm a big sucker for symphonies, so just hearing the music in general was amazing.
Reach for the Stars is fine in my opinion, but I prefer Speak with Your Heart. I'm not gonna lie.
The way they made it sound during the 30th anniversary symphony, it's like that is pretty much the best one of the ending theme. Which also, let's talk about just the themes and everything. I think definitely out of nostalgia. like the original for the stars is my favorite. And like I'll give, what is it? The Recolors version? I think that's what it was called. I'll give it a +1 just because of the additional guitars. Yeah, it's cool in Ultimate. I really like it in Ultimate too. I feel so bad for how it ended, how Speak with Your Heart ended up in Ultimate. Like, I guess I could see what they were going for, but it's like, ooh.
Also, in Ultimate, like over half of the credits get cut off because they extended the credits to like half an hour.
That's right.
Well, they had to. It was a
credits
rewrite.
last for 30 minutes. I know, it's
the
one of my
original
favorite
soundtrack for
content
the
creators
credits is only
suffer
like
that.
13 minutes because it was that long to compensate for the original credits. They didn't do a lot of like any new credits music or whatever.
It's not the longest I've ever had to sit for a credits for a game, but you know, it's because they did the remaster and they had a whole new team working on it. So they had to credit everyone twice. They had to credit the original game developers and they had to credit all the people who worked on the remaster as well. And also, yeah, I deliberately intentionally left out Sonic 2006. He also worked on that. Tony also worked on that.
Oh, come on. 06's music is
good
good.
music. That's like the best thing about the game.
Yeah, the
It's the
music's
only good thing about the game. In fact, they reuse quite a few. They've reused the Eggman theme in this. It was the first time I've ever like seen music transfer from one game to another.
Mm.
You got the good old Eggman, basically Eggman's Imperial March.
Yeah. In
God, I
general,
suffered for God.
that's something I've really realized with the music in this game. Like you said, it's very Mario Galaxy, which is kind of true because it's a it's a space game.
Like I said, Otani, like I said, he reminds me of adventure, whimsy, going forth and like mystery, intrigue. You've got whenever you hear like he is ironically he's his stuff reminds me more of an adventure than June's did, and he was the composer for Sonic Adventure 2. But I think like I said, it really has a benefit of it. I do like that era of the music. I do like his work. Even in things like Sonic Frontiers, you get the sense of mystery that he employs, as well as that kick-ass track. I think Sonic Frontiers proved that guy could do kick-ass rock tracks as well.
Well, is that everything you want to face with the music with?
Pretty much on my end.
I think I got all my thoughts in. I think I got all my thoughts in. Nothing else.
I think I repeated myself.
That's fine.
A few times.
Anyone else have their thoughts on the music?
David and
I mean,
No, yeah, it's just really cool. Yeah.
Well,
there's only so many ways you can say this is good.
Well, that will actually do it for the podcast of disaster. As always, remember to be good to yourselves, others, and mothers, and we will see you next time for the Sonic.
Bye,
for the next Sonic thing.
Damn it.
It's fine. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
So long, folks.
Bye.